Today we are mastering masonry. You heard me. This is all about the art of bricklaying. Translated from my wild brain to ultra running terms, the base building these. If you want to run miles on miles on miles in the glorious mountains on buttery single track, we need a solid foundation to draw on. Base training is all about building aerobic endurance and establishing a strong base before you dive into more intense training. In this phase, we are laying the groundwork for a solid structure. That structure is you. You're a brick house. Without a solid foundation of consistent running and stamina, your advanced workouts could crumble under the pressure. And what does that make you? A sandcastle. It makes you a crumbly little sandcastle, here 1 minute and gone the next. And we aren't at the beach, and I'm not in the business of building weak athletes. Welcome to Biz Vibe. I'm Coach Viv. I help runners slow down so they can run fast towards joy, alignment, and true contentment in training and racing. If that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing and working with me one-on-one. Before we get into properly putting together a base training phase, I'd like to mention a few things not to do to keep us out of sandcastle territory. This phase is not about speed or intensity right now. It is about building your mileage and getting your body used to longer distances. It is not about pushing the limits. It is about creating strong boundaries around pace and distance so you can push the limits later. I promise we will push the limits, just not here in this phase. This is not a balls to the walls, no days off, Goggins for president. This is a restrained power and patience phase. Base training typically involves consistent, moderate intensity runs that help improve stamina and cardiovascular fitness. These patient, restrained miles help our bodies adapt to the stresses of ultra-distance running, preparing our muscles, tendons, and ligaments for the rigors of ultra training and racing. A super solid base phase also helps us become more efficient at running long distances and helps reduce the risk of injury. We get that it is important, right? Great. In order to structure this all-important phase, we're going to want to focus on a few things. Start with a weekly mileage that feels manageable but challenging. A good rule of thumb is to aim for about 50 to 70% of your total weekly mileage in easy runs. Gradually increase this mileage as your body adapts. A very general rule, again, is 5 to 10% increase each week. If you're just getting started, I'd encourage you to check out my Trail Running 101 video, get through that phase, and then move into this base phase. Everyone will be different in the level they're coming from, how much base they already have, how many years they've been running, so the exact mileage is something you have to figure out individually. If you're completely lost or just need help getting more specific, consider working with me one-on-one or scheduling a training consultation call with me at bizvibe.com. Incorporate a long run each week. This run should be done at a comfortable conversational pace. It's crucial to get used to spending extended periods of time on your feet. A lot of ultra training is about getting time on your feet. This is going to contribute to that. Remember that anything over a 90-minute run needs to be fueled as well. These long runs are where you can start testing out your gear, nutrition, and shoes, making sure they're adequate for long distance racing. In this phase, consistency is key for maximizing endurance adaptations. Aim for 4 to 6 runs per week. Even if some days are just light, easy runs, the consistency will pay off. This part is really for your tendons and ligaments to get used to the strain of running. I want you to hear me. Listen up. When running, the Achilles tendon can experience a load of 4 to 7 times your body weight. If you're jumping, switching direction quickly, or moving over odd objects like rocks, I don't know, as we do in trail running, it's even more force. We want to stress the body, but also give an adequate amount of time to recover. If you only run 2 25-milers in the week instead of spreading that mileage out over the week, those tendons and ligaments are in dangerous territory. I weigh about 125 pounds. Let's say I take 10,000 steps in an easy hour run. 10,000 steps times 4 times my body weight is going to be 5 million pounds of force going through that Achilles in one easy run. But the next day, the body is resilient, it recovers, and we do it again throughout the week. Now, just imagine that same force going through the tendons if it's on sporadic long runs, inconsistently, here and there throughout the week. Again, consistency is key. Cross training is something you can incorporate into the schedule as well to help build overall fitness and prevent burnout. Things like cycling, swimming, yoga, or strength training are great options. Keep in mind, activities like cycling and swimming are going to be helpful with the aerobic base versus yoga, strength, and climbing types activities will load and stimulate the body differently, as well as give your mind a rest from constant forward motion. So as you plan your weeks and incorporate cross training, think about the different types and what you're trying to achieve with it. Lastly, the biggest and most important is never underestimate the power of rest. Ensure you have at least one full day of rest a week and listen to your body throughout the weeks as you add mileage. Recovery is just as important as the runs themselves and isn't something that just happens on your off days. Recovery happens in between each run too, so make the in-between count. Getting good sleep is one of the most powerful things you can do to recover and set yourself up for the next day of running. What might an example training week look like, you might ask? In the base training phase, it might look a little something like Monday is a rest day or light cross training, Tuesday 5 to 6 miles easy, Wednesday is going to be maybe a 4-mile easy run with strength training or maybe strides, Thursday 5 to 6 miles easy run, Friday a rest or light cross training, Saturday would be your long run of 10 to 15 miles at a comfortable pace, Sunday some recovery miles, 4 to 5 miles. That could also just be a brisk walk. You'll want to adjust the distance in days based on your current fitness level and goals. If you want to take things to the next level, consider working with me as your coach. I work with all levels of runners and love helping folks nail the base training and then transition smoothly into the fun stuff like structured hill repeats and speed workouts in a safe, effective, and sustainable way. That's the big stuff, but I will leave you with a few more things to consider that can elevate this phase to get just a little bit more extra credit. These are the ways I take my base training to the next level. Most people aren't doing these things, so if you want to get ahead, pay attention. Establish a baseline for fueling. As we've spoken about, the miles that make up this phase are not an all-out effort. Therefore, this is the ideal time to establish what your baseline fueling strategy will look like. Once you start getting into that higher intensity stuff with speed workouts, the stomach can start rejecting food. So before you transition, it's good to practice consistent fueling every 30 to 45 minutes on runs over 90 minutes. Proper nutrition and hydration are crucial for recovery and performance. So this is a perfect time to establish a habit of constant fueling throughout runs. This phase is about laying bricks. Those bricks are the miles you put in each day. And what is the mortar to glue them all together? Gels, or if you can't stand gels, some form of fuel. When you're fueling your body properly, you're giving it enough energy to build a resilient body. Your bones will thank you. Your muscles will thank you. Your brain will thank you. I've made many videos on nutrition. You can check those out later. Strides can be a great way to increase speed without the training load and that stress of a massive tempo workout. I aim to incorporate strides at the end of a run 2 to 3 times a week. These also help to break up the monotony of long miles day after day. These are short spurts of speed, about 30 seconds, with full recovery in between, allowing for better leg turnover and longer stride. I love strides, and they've proven to be a super effective way to build speed in the base training phase. The last and final extra credit here is marrying the physical with the mental and having fun. Not only can we build strength and endurance in the body, you can build it in the mind as well. As you move through the miles, build up the walls that ward off excuses and weak-mindedness. Come up with mantras that get you through the miles like, I could do this all day, I'm a mother trucking tank, champions find a way. A lot of mental resilience comes with the physical training. It's natural and built in, but taking it a step further and intentionally giving thought to building a mental base of strength can further strengthen that tenacity. Remember, this phase is about building a love for running and setting yourself up for success, which means finding balance in life. Enjoy each step of the way and keep cultivating the adventurous spirit that this sport requires. Thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, you might like some of the others on similar topics. You can check those out here or in the description below. Drop any questions or comments below as well. I'd love to hear about your ultramarathon goals and how your base training is going. Until next time, have fun and happy trails. Bye!